Hi, my name is Selena Landis, and I'm going to go ahead and do a week 10 assignment and answer a few questions regarding the course material for this week's assignment. It's just a few questions. The first question is forecast how evidence-based practice, so EBP, will be integrated into future work. So my answer is this was a very interesting assignment topic to read about. It discusses the importance of evidence-based practice and how important it is for clinicians to start taking alert to it and begin to utilize it into their current practice. You know, practice makes perfect, and if you lose it, and if you do not use it, you lose it. Just like many things, people do not like change, which is understandable. They are stuck in their ways, and we're creatures of habit. So the reading just discussed the importance of how evidence-based practice is going to basically be the blueprint for our future as therapists. It makes so much sense after reading this how things are and why the different organizations are made. It mentions now how mental health is becoming more recognized within our communities, and now insurance companies are now providing coverages for these types of issues such as mental health and substance abuse and issues of such sorts. They mentioned in the article that EBP is now being considered a means for these healthcare systems so that they can start taking accountability. It also mentions that now that we have organizations such as the Affordable Care Act, which has now a law that mental health benefits are just as important as physical benefits, and laws requiring minimal benefits to provide mental health and substance abuse to more than 32 million Americans. So they're just realizing that, health is not just physical, it's also mental as well. People suffer from all different sorts, and we need insurance and resources to cover these situations, that can alter people's lives, different things like that. So medical educators are really the first ones who get credit for pushing EBP. There are now others pushing for it, such as government agencies, policy experts, and payers. So basically, to make this research happen, there must be a funding involved. And this is one of the primary ways that the government is going to increase and push EBP, along with therapists getting the knowledge, staying up to date on the current changes, and applying EBP into their work. So us as therapists, we need to use it, otherwise we're going to lose it. We need to be up to date, take classes, be on our education. So, and we need to apply it into our work, because if we start applying it, that means we can take it down to the future therapists that are coming into the industry. So additionally, other things that are going to be to shape the future when it comes to EBP is the use of technology, because technology is taking over, AI stuff like that. One of the other things that is going to be a super huge in the future of therapy as clinician is the use of what they call the electronic medical record, which is the EMR. So government leaders and researchers within the healthcare field have recognized that EMRs can be used to collect data easier than having to keep everything on a paper and files and stuff like that. They feel that it would be easier to collect health trends and data using the EMR. It's easier to, organize and stuff like that, access. And then one of the forecasts for the future is when using the EMRs that clinicians, let's say if they put in a certain trigger word, this is what they forecast for the future. So us as therapists or clinicians, if we do put in like a trigger word into this EMR system, it can pop up treatment findings and recommendations based off of the evidence-based practice findings, okay? Okay, and then so using the EMR can strengthen implementations of EBP, and if clinicians are going to stay with the trends in EPD, which is highly suggested, then they should become proficient with the EMR. Okay, that's question number 1. So then we have question number 2. Discuss possible ways to contribute to the MFT knowledge base as clinicians. My answer. Possible ways to contribute to the MFT knowledge base as clinicians is by staying up to date with the continuing education, which I mentioned earlier, reading professional journals, getting clinical updates, listening or participating in podcasts, online training series, workshops. Staying in with these different types of things can allow a therapist to stay up to date with the emerging trends. So, question number 3. After reading the resources for the week, briefly propose and describe a personal clinical process/framework you could use for gathering your own data to evaluate the effectiveness of your future clinical work and reflect on how you will monitor whether the decision you make following EBP approaches have been successful. Consider informal conversations with clients about their experiences with any shifts you make are sufficient. So, after reading the resources for this week, how I would gather my own data is to evaluate the effectiveness of my future clinical work and reflecting on how I will monitor whether the decision I make following EBP approaches have been successful is by staying up to date with the current trends when it comes to EBP. Using the EMRs. How I will make sure that my future decisions regarding EBP are successful is because I will make sure to integrate research findings into my practice. 4, how might you obtain feedback from your clients to determine if you are on track? Okay, so my answer is how I might get feedback from my clients to determine if I were on track is to staying focused on making sure that I obtain my feedback from my clients using the EMRs. There is one system that I found that seems so amazing. System is called EHRs. It comes with all of the tools that you need as a therapist to organize all of your day-to-day with an all-in-one practice management to manage your therapy administrative tasks. This system helps with everything from finances. It simplifies documentation. This EMR system helps to improve client care as well as provides all the systems to help you with feedback amongst much more. Okay. And then we have the last but not least, discuss growth opportunities for developing skills to communicate effectively about EBP and PBE with both colleagues and clients. So some of the growth opportunities for developing skills to communicate efficiently about EBP and PBE, with both colleagues and clients are by doing the research, going to school, applying what I learned as far as EBP into my work, and then staying up to date with EMRs, seminars, assessments, and continuing education, etc. Well, that is my video there. Hope you enjoy.